move on to our next performer this evening. Please can we make lots of noise for Shani?
The poem that I'm sharing with you tonight is called Why Indian Women Are Obsessed with Princess Diana. Given the King Charles is and Kate Middleton Diana from this would be most appropriate. So this was called Why Indian Women are Obsessed with Princess Diana. They connect to the daughter-in-law in her. They know what it's like to go from their husband's house. They know what it's like to go from their father's house to their husband's house. They remember being young and naive, and being told fairy tales about one day they would get married. Lo and behold, one day a prince would come along. Whether it's because they believe that story or for the sake of approval, they agree. A younger woman marrying an older man, an arranged marriage. Yes, Diana was compassionate, kind, and beautiful, but even though the right woman in the hands of the wrong man, anything can happen. They know what it's like being told that he comes from a good, established family. They know what it's like to marry for the potential, for who or what they could be, for a lifestyle. So they agree, thinking that it would be a good match, despite the age difference, but who cares about that? Diana and Charles met 13 times before they got married. Some would say that that was unlucky. He got her a catalogue ring, but it wasn't a textbook marriage. Like many couples, they were told they would learn to love. So came the fairy tale wedding, a 10 out of 10 days, dressed up to the nines, a 25-foot dress, the most iconic wedding dress the world has ever seen. And so her station came at the open. They stopped. She did. They both did. But maybe their hearts not in it. She doesn't obey in her wedding vows. But they went to Buckingham Palace's balcony to show the world their birthday, so that the world would think that this is wedded bliss. This is what love is. But is it? Is the people on the ground looking above, thinking that people with all that money must be so much happier? But modern theory states that the more money that you spend on a wedding, the more extravagant the event, the more problems behind closed doors. But when you live in Kensington Palace, I guess there's more space to hide it all. But it's harder to escape when it takes over every room. When married life starts, Indian women know what it's like to marry into a home that they don't know the rules to. As much as everyone teaches and explains what you have to do, if you're a free spirit, your instinct is to rebel. Diana was more than a beautiful rebel. She pushed boundaries, but every time she did, the world press was watching, so they spot the inconsistencies. Indian women know what it's like to be told, you're not behaving as you should be, you're not behaving how a princess should be, or how a new daughter-in-law should behave. And they keep their heads down, wear a characteristic smile, keep calm and carry on. Indian women know what it's like to not have a place but to be constantly put in one. Kensington Palace was a home, or so it seemed. But is it a home if you dread going back? Is it a home when you can't wait to leave it or dread coming back? Diana struggled with her postnatal depression and bulimia. She self-harmed like throwing herself down the stairs, but all it did was make Charles take flight. She did what she had to do. She stayed, fought, and stuck it out for as long as she could. Indian women know what it's like to walk into a room and have everyone look at them, especially when they're in the bride. Diana was the most photographed woman in the world. She got Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. But Indian women know what it's like to be hounded. Sometimes, like Diana, they want to be invisible. So what about Prince Charles in this story? He was a royal mail that was delivered to the wrong address, but Diana signed for it. It could never be tracked or traced, but with Diana it wasn't the case. Her face on the front of every newspaper, the world to her cave. The world saw the princess and the paparazzi race. She was bait, so they fished for pictures. But once the royal gates closed, fate changed. There was overcrowding. There was 3 people in this marriage, but only 2 vows exchanged, 2 of which only turned out to be true. The vows were more like handwritten emotional checks that bounced. I guess money can't buy love, even if the Queen's face is on the money. Indian women know what it's like to give up one identity in order to create another. You see, Diana divorced from herself before she ever was divorced, but she decided to change the perspective, decided that she wanted to be seen doing humanitarian work, not just at home, but for all over the world. That's how she became the queen of people's hearts. Relating to people was her gift. She shook hands with people, and that shook up the world. Being married and having a monarch as a mother-in-law made walking through minefields seem easy, because she'd been trying not to put a foot wrong her whole life. And Indian women know what that feels like. They know what it's like to be outlawed by your in-laws. They know what it's like to live in the bylaws. Being deroyaled meant that Diana could reign in her own way, so she became the writer of her own story. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for following me. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was incredible. Again, can we just acknowledge just how much fun there is in the room this evening? Wow.